Craving a big burger? Well, we've got big value. The iconic Subway foot-long sub. Because we know size matters.
Ever get the feeling you aren't where you're meant to be? Open Universities Australia can help you take the first step. To explore degrees, certificates and make study work for you, visit open.edu.au today.
It's a scent that transcends time, and it's only $165. Not at Chemist Warehouse, it's not.
Hurry into Chemist Warehouse this Mother's Day and get Chloe by Chloe 75ml $129.99. Paco Rabanne Fame 80ml $149.99. Or the Orchard or 100ml just $199.99. Shop in store or online. Chemist Warehouse, the real house of fragrances.
There was a couple of tries.
There's value. Then there's foot-long value. Because size matters.
Ever get the feeling you aren't where you're meant to be? Open Universities Australia can help you take the first step. To explore degrees, certificates and make study work for you, visit open.edu.au today.
Out now at Harvey Norman, AMD Ryzen 8000 series processors in the brand new range of HP Envy X360 14-inch 2-in-1 laptops. Experience the power of Ryzen AI and Microsoft Copilot in a super sleek, lightweight form factor with up to 32GB RAM and massive 1TB SSD. Upgrade now from just $19.99. Windows 11 and AMD Ryzen AI with the latest 14-inch HP Envy X360, exclusive to Harvey Norman.
I'll talk this later.
Tonight, radicalised online, a 16-year-old boy shot dead by police after stabbing a stranger in a Bunnings car park. Murder charges expected over the disappearance of 2 Australian brothers in Mexico, a possible motive revealed. Torrential downpours caused flash flooding on the mid-coast, the SES rescuing one man from the roof of his car. University debts to be slashed in a major HECS overhaul. And the Knights defend their castle with a hard-fought battle in slippery conditions.
This is NBN News with Jane Goldsmith.
Good evening. Almost 3 weeks on from the alleged terror attack in Sydney, and another teenager has gone on a stabbing frenzy, this time in Perth. Police shot and killed the 16-year-old who rushed at them with a 30-centimetre kitchen knife. It's believed he had been radicalised online, and police say his motives had all the signs of a terror attack.
These are the final minutes of this teenager's life, spent frantic in a Bunnings car park. He's chasing after police, wielding a 30-centimetre kitchen knife. Out of the car, a standoff, and one gunshot.
The police who responded acted professionally within their training.
Trained to give first aid, that's what officers did. 1 hour after warning police that he was out for blood, the 16-year-old was pronounced dead. Officers responding after the boy attacked a stranger, stabbing him in the back.
I have seen the body-worn video. I am comfortable with the police professional approach within training. They have done their job.
Willetton, a suburb in Perth South, locked down at the hands of a teenager. This morning, a crime scene.
We are dealing with complex issues with this 16-year-old male, both mental health issues, but also online radicalisation issues.
Police say he called 000 at about 10:10 last night, telling the operator he was going to commit acts of violence, but didn't say where. A short time later, another 000 call, this time from a member of the public, informing officers of a male running around a car park with a knife. 3 officers arriving within 3 minutes.
When he was chasing the police car around, he was holding it like around his waist area, and then when he's running towards a police car, obviously he was holding up in the air.
There are indications he had been radicalised online. It appears that he acted solely and alone.
After mass murder at Bondi Junction last month and a church stabbing in Wakeley, WA's top cop this morning on the phone to Australia's Federal Police Commissioner.
I've also spoken to the Commissioner of New South Wales Police, Karen Webb, just to talk through some of those issues that she went through in the most recent one in New South Wales.
It's now emerged members of WA's Muslim community had raised red flags in the lead up to last night.
We not only condemn this in the harshest terms possible, but we would also like to mention that Islam has nothing to do with any acts of violence that are committed in its name.
The Prime Minister issuing a statement saying there's no ongoing threat to the community on the information available. We are a peace-loving nation and there is no place for violent extremism in Australia. Police describe the boy as a Caucasian male who Its aim is to stop terror attacks. Police aren't calling it that yet, but say it has all the hallmarks. Michael Genovese, NBN News.
3 Mexican nationals have been charged with forced kidnapping in relation to the disappearance of Australian brothers Callum and Jake Robinson. Today, one of Callum's closest friends spoke of his kindness and his bright personality, telling NBN News he lit up a room.
A show of force on the streets of Ensenada, the closest town to where Callum and Jake Robinson were last seen. Mexican officials now believe the Australian brothers and their American friend were ambushed by 3 Mexican nationals after their white ute. There was resistance, shots fired, shell casings found by their tents. The 3 Mexicans have been charged with forced kidnapping. Jesus Cota, his alias is El Quecas, his partner Ari, and El Quecas' brother Christian Alejandro Garcia. They were all found in possession of methamphetamine. Sources tell 9 News they're expected to be charged with murder in the days to come. On top of the hill where 3 bodies were found yesterday, an abandoned cabin. Inside, possessions believed to be from the Perth Brothers campsite. The beaches along Baja make it a draw card for tourists, but beyond the bustling coastline there are warring cartels and one of the highest crime rates in all of Mexico. Were you in contact with Callum after he left for Mexico?
I didn't hear from him, and my mom asked me if I heard from him, and I was like, I think he's mad at me. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I think he's mad at me. Something doesn't seem right.
Hayley Jacobs is one of Callum Robinson's dearest friends. She last saw him the morning he left for Mexico. She's crippled with grief, but wants to pay tribute to her favourite Aussie.
If we're at a restaurant and we were having dinner and he asked for the waiter's name, he would write his name down in his notes in his phone, how he met him and how he connected with him. And he showed me the notes, and it was hundreds of people's names that he met. He just lit up a room.
For years, Callum has been based in the US, living out his dream of playing professional lacrosse.
I asked him what his goals were in life, and he just said that he wanted to go to Australia and raise a family and grow.
Today, his Stevenson University team paid tribute, a minute's silence for the man they called Big Koala.
We just want to say the Robinson family that, all our alumni arms are all around you.
In Ensenada, Mexico, Alison Petrowski, NBN News.
The Mid-Coast and Port Stephens have been lashed by heavy rain overnight, and some areas experienced minor flooding earlier today. Reporter Montana Clare joins us live from the newsroom now. Montana, experts say it was an incredibly localised downpour.
Jane, while the Bureau of Meteorology doesn't have rain gauges in the Tea Gardens or Hawke Ness areas, they said the radar displayed intense rainfall. Residents in the area say they recorded anything from 50 to 200 millimetres in the past 24 hours. And while the water has now subsided, rain saw many roads close this morning due to flooding. New South Wales SES rescuing someone from the roof of their car along Mile Way at Tea Gardens before 7 a.m. And it doesn't look like the rain is moving anywhere soon, with heavy showers forecast along the coast tonight.
Along the coastline, there is a chance of heavy totals, so that would be the risk of flash flooding and road closures potentially, of totals up to maybe 100 millimetres.
Jane, it's a reminder to stay alert and monitor the changing conditions and don't drive through floodwaters.
It's good advice, Montana. Thank you. Investigations into the stabbing death of a 22-year-old man on the mid-north coast have continued today. Police divers were searching Coffs Creek this morning following the incident which occurred near Park Beach on Thursday morning. The attacker is still yet to be located, police remaining tight-lipped on the results of today's search. New South Wales Parliament will this week consider new laws to track alleged domestic violence abusers while they're out on bail. The opposition's proposed reforms would expand the use of electronic monitoring and make it easier for courts to refuse bail.
This is about saving lives. This is about protecting women and children. This is about a common sense approach.
The Minns government will tomorrow announce details of an emergency funding package for survivors, just days after a crisis cabinet meeting on the issue. And the community push for action on violence against women continued today, with crowds braving the rain to drum up support for emergency shelters. A quick warm-up was required before hundreds set off on the annual 10-kilometre Walk for Women and Girls Emergency Centre at Centennial Park in Sydney. They raised more than $400,000. 4 boys from an exclusive private school in Melbourne's east have been suspended pending an investigation into a post on an app that rates their female classmates according to looks. There are several categories. Some of those labels include wifey, cuties, and finally, unrapeable. Yarra Valley Grammar Principal Dr. Mark Merry says the post is disgraceful. Millions of Australians will have a chunk of their HECS debts wiped in a $3 billion move to ease the burden of fast-growing student loans. The federal government today responding to concerns the cost of a university degree is leaving young people at a financial disadvantage.
Engineering student Billy Ballico hasn't even finished his course, but the 24-year-old's already saddled with a $51,000 HECS debt.
And then on top of that, I'm also accruing interest on this loan.
Until now, uni debts like Billy's have been pegged to inflation, which meant they grew by a supersized 7.1% last year. Young Australians, already feeling squeezed out of the housing market, hit particularly hard.
This is a huge conversation I've had definitely with a lot of my peers at university.
The government's heard it and we're acting.
Uni debts will now be indexed by wage growth or inflation, whichever is lower, backdated to last year when wage growth was just over 3%.
In other words, we're going to wipe out what happened last year and make sure that it never happens again.
Someone with an average HECS debt of $26,500 will have to repay $1,200 less. A $50,000 debt will be effectively slashed by more than $2,200, double for those with a $100,000 student loan.
This is going to cut HECS debt for about 3 million Aussies by about $3 billion.
Independent MP Monique Ryan collected more than 270,000 signatures from those demanding the change.
The government has listened, and I thank them for that.
The architect of HECS, economist Bruce Chapman, says the changes will allow student debts to be paid a little faster.
For somebody with an expected time period of repayment, say 10 years, this will take about 6 months off.
It won't provide any immediate assistance for students, but on the balance, it's still a pretty good move.
Given this won't reduce HECS repayments, only the size of debts, the government can't claim it as a cost of living measure, but millions will welcome it anyway. Andrew Probyn, NBN News.
And thousands of people have descended on Port Macquarie for the race this weekend. Not only a big deal for athletes, but businesses too, with the iconic event injecting around $9 million into the region's economy.
Swimming, cycling and running more than 226 kilometres. Entrants of the 37th Ironman Australia Triathlon prove they have what it takes. Crowds in their thousands braving the wet weather to proudly cheer on the athletes. Some setting up camp at 5 in the morning to nab a front row view.
Come up here to watch our grandson in the Ironman and a friend of ours.
I've been down here every year for about 13 years.
Race regulars putting in the hard yards to make it to the finish line. Others taking on the gruelling challenge by poor luck.
We came out. He lost a bet a year ago now and he's put in the hard work.
Apparently it's pretty massive, it's a big saying.
Almost 3,000 competitors have descended on Port Macquarie for today's race, with a further 10,000 cheering on from the sidelines.
Obviously, Hannah. She's our sister, but we've also got some cousins running as well.
Today's event expected to generate more than $9 million for Port Macquarie's economy.
Yeah, no, it's great to have local events and lots of people in town, and yesterday was crazy busy as well, so yeah, it's been really good.
Marina Trakovic, NBN News.
To other news now, and a Queensland man has been charged following a roadside drug bust near Narrabri on Friday night. Oxley police stopped a Ford Transit van at the junction of Kamilaroi and Newell highways around 8:30 p.m. They allegedly seized more than $65,000 worth of drugs and more than 3,500 packets of cigarettes. The 34-year-old will front gun at our local court tomorrow. There'll be changed traffic conditions on the Pacific Motorway at Tweed heads west next week as overheight detectors and signage are installed on the Tugun bypass. The motorway will be closed to northbound traffic from Kennedy Drive to the Gold Coast Highway, with detours and a reduced 60-kilometre speed limit in place. Works begin on Tuesday and wrap up on Thursday. Businesses in the Taree Gloucester region have been revealed as some of the North Coast's safest when it comes to business risk. The latest Creditor Watch data revealing the area has a success rate of 76.2%, while Port Macquarie businesses are averaging around 54%. It's a different story though in Kempsey Nambucca, where just 24.7% of businesses are considered low risk. Conditions are forecast to deteriorate across the North Coast over the next year, largely due to the region's low socio-economic status and the rising. Heroes were celebrated today at the region's annual Our Kids Day Out. The event spoils kids who have spent much of their lives in hospital and features some very special guests.
At just 18 months old, it hasn't been an easy start to life for Isaiah Bell and his family.
So he was born with a heart condition and without a food pipe.
We've had to relocate to Brisbane and move our life to kind of fit his needs and with his care.
After multiple surgeries and many days in hospital, today young Isaiah was honoured with a bravery award at the annual Our Kids Day Out event.
It just goes to show that Isaiah's been resilient for everything, and like Lola said, he's kept a smile on his face.
Held at Missingham Park for almost 2 decades, the Day Out celebrates children and their families who have received care at Lismore Base Hospital's Children Ward and Special Care Nursery.
It's a day we give back to them and we honour them for having gone through such incredible pain and stress.
You don't know what it's like until you have a kid with health issues and stuff, and then the support that the community comes together and helps out. It's really good to be a part of.
TV favourites Cookie Monster and Elmo took centre stage for some special performances, some even catching a glimpse of Darth Vader.
Even if the kids don't know Star Wars, they see some characters, they get a photo.
Seeing children with their families, so much curiosity and so much enjoyment. It's great to be a part of that.
Emergency services also took part, offering a rare glimpse into their operations.
So they brought their trucks and their boats and their utes, and they're getting all their instruments out so kids can have a look at what they do. Maybe we could do this more often all around. Who knows?
Alexandra Rees, NBN News.
The annual Lennox Head community tree planting will take place next week. Each year, native seedlings of littoral rainforest species are planted at Lennox Headland to restore what was previously there before the 1800s. Ballina Shire Council will supply trees, mulch, water and tools, and the event begins on May 10. Looking at the weather now for the Northern Rivers, quite a few showers around today. A top of 23 degrees for Yamba, 16 to 23 at Ballina today, a top of 21 at Byron, 24 for Coolangatta. You're watching NBN News. Still ahead, famine takes hold in Gaza and there's hope for a new ceasefire deal as leaders meet in Egypt. New cameras being rolled out across the state to catch drivers not wearing seatbelts. And taking away the cotton wool, the Hunter-based childcare centre where risky play rules.
Craving a big burger? Well, we've got big value. The iconic Subway foot-long sub. Because we know size matters.
Ever get the feeling you aren't where you're meant to be? Open Universities Australia can help you take the first step. To explore degrees, certificates and make study work for you, visit open.edu.au today.
Search New South Wales Trainlink and book your ticket today.
Not working from Hovel? No, my lord wants us all in castle now. Say, what's in this? It tastes great. It's big red tomato, just in from the New World. Very exotic.
Good then. Great now. Heinz.
The Mazda end of financial year drive-away event is on, and it's the perfect time to get into BT50 SP. Now available from 64,670 drive-away for ABN holders. Offer ends June 30. Get in today.
Oh, I'll get this. Are we still up for ice skating, or is that on hold? Thank you.
We'll take it.
ANZ Falcon technology learns from thousands of data points on your transactions, so it can help spot the difference between you and fraud. Fraud protection. Now it's personal.
The MY23 run-out clearance event is on now for Polaris off-road vehicles. Get unbeatable deals across the range with savings up to $4,000. We've got you covered with petrol, diesel or electric vehicle options. Get a new MY23 Polaris Ranger on a 4.99% per annum, 24-month loan term with no deposit. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Visit PolarisAustralia.com or your nearest dealership today. Terms and conditions apply. Polaris. Think outside.
Experience the pinnacle of coastal luxury in Evans Head, where architectural beauty meets innovative luxury. Nestled between the ocean and Evans River, this grand home offers a prestigious retreat in a serene coastal setting.
We're slashing prices on our entire 2023 stock of Supreme and Leader caravans, up to $15,000 off. Free delivery straight from any of our dealerships. Hurry, these deals won't last long. Visit Australian Caravan Centre today.
Looking for a great deal on your electricity? Switch to Energy Australia today and get 18% less than the reference price. Switch today at energyaustralia.com.au or call us on 133 466.
Norco Primex 2024 is here. See all the latest in agriculture, massive machinery, livestock, delicious paddock-to-plate experiences and family entertainment. Go and see our 40th anniversary event. Norco Primex is on May 16 to 18 at Casino, New South Wales.
Parts of Gaza are now in full-blown famine. That's the bleak assessment from one of the world's leading humanitarian organisations. As hunger on the Strip worsens, ceasefire talks in Egypt enter a delicate stage, renewing hope that a deal could be struck in the coming days.
Children wait in line with saucepans and bowls to be served food. This aid provided to displaced Palestinians in Gaza by World Central Kitchen. It's something, but it's far from enough. When it comes to food, sometimes we have lunch, but we don't have dinner. And sometimes we have breakfast, but don't have lunch. This man, who has a family of 16, says. The conditions in Gaza now so bad, the world's largest humanitarian organisation has made this declaration.
What I can explain to you is that there is famine, full-blown famine in the north.
and it's moving its way south.
Full-blown famine as ceasefire talks in Cairo enter a delicate stage. Hamas negotiators are in the Egyptian capital to discuss the latest proposal, which would see at least 33 Israeli hostages released in exchange for a pause in fighting. Egyptian media reporting there has been significant progress.
The reality in this moment is the only thing standing between the people of Gaza and a ceasefire is Hamas.
In Israel, the update was delivered to thousands at a rally calling for the hostages to be released.
Today we hear of a deal on a table, awaiting response from Hamas.
Cautious optimism for an outcome when the stakes couldn't be higher. Jessica Millward, NBN News.
Floods are wreaking havoc in Brazil's south, the death toll rising to 57 today, with 67 others still missing. Crucial infrastructure has been destroyed and almost 70,000 people have been displaced. Many residents are being rescued by helicopters after becoming stranded on rooftops. Indonesia's Sulawesi Island has also been smashed by severe weather and 14 people have been killed. Torrential rain has triggered a flood and a landslide. 42 homes were swept away and more than 100 were seriously damaged. The Mayor of London has won a historic third term, but he couldn't win over everyone. A heckler disrupted Sadiq Khan's victory speech, shouting the Labour politician has, quote, killed London. He's the first third-term mayor. His predecessors each served two. Camera technology will soon be rolled out to counter a surge in the numbers of people dying while not wearing a seatbelt. From July 1, mobile phone detection cameras will also be used to spot seatbelt offences, and the fines are steep.
It's been a legal requirement for more than 50 years, but this has proved some drivers and passengers just don't care. These images captured during a trial, mobile phone detection cameras recording seatbelt offences.
So it's a very small number of people who are doing it, but it is contributing to our road toll. They're twice as more likely to die in an accident.
And that toll has been on the rise. 124 people have been killed on our roads so far this year, 16 more than this time in 2023. 36 people who died last year were not wearing a seatbelt. The penalty if you're caught, a $387 fine and 3 demerit points. From July 1, fixed and mobile phone detection cameras will also now focus on those not wearing seatbelts or not wearing them properly.
We will be able to pick up around 100% of New South Wales's driving population and ensure that they are abiding by the laws.
And it also applies if a driver fails to ensure passengers are complying. But deaths are only part of this story. Not wearing a seatbelt or wearing it incorrectly dramatically increases the chances of traumatic injury, even at lower speeds. And often those injuries can be life-changing. Especially true when, as this woman is doing, looping the belt under her breast.
Crashes at only 60 kilometres an hour, where extreme injury to the spleen, the abdomen, can happen as a result of the body being propelled forward.
All of this particularly a problem in regional New South Wales.
We have a third of the population, but we have 2/3 of the road deaths in our road system.
Today marks the start of National Road Safety Week, the Harbour Bridge to be lit up from tonight, a reminder for everyone to drive more carefully and buckle up. Eddie Meyer, NBN News.
Police are tonight looking into what caused a fire at a unit complex in Western Sydney. Emergency services were called to Troy Street at Emu Plains just after midnight. It's believed the fire may have been started by an e-bike charging in a stairwell. 3 people were taken to hospital as a precaution. If you were a child in the last century, you'd notice playgrounds look very different now. Safety, the number one feature. But play of the past is slowly making a comeback, with one preschool in the Hunter focusing on teaching children the importance of taking a risk.
In the olden days, when nurses wore nursing caps, the future toddlers in their arms would soon be shooting down sunbaked slides or pretzeled through monkey bars or using a strop razor. Well, maybe not that.
In play, a lot of the learning that happens is incidental. It's spur of the moment stuff.
But the modern playground with its soft fall surfaces are seemingly robbing preschoolers of real life lessons.
Most modern playgrounds are designed to be as safe as necessary.
So Hamilton Childcare in The Hunter has reintroduced an element of play missing in the modern world. Risk.
They understand to assess risk in their play. They understand how high they might be able to climb something. They understand how fast they can move around things.
Called adventurous play. It's about adding risk to play, but not hazard or hovering with help.
We just sometimes will say things like, do you feel safe? Or what can you do next? They become confident and very capable. There's always parameters in place. You're not allowed to climb things if you can't get back down.
It's a concept already in place in other locations such as Centennial Park's Wild Play. Alex recently awarded a state educator scholarship to investigate the concept of risky play internationally and its effects scholastically.
The children that engage in risky play that are able to climb a tree like they can right earlier.
Because when you're successful with whatever you're working on, you do feel confident, and that, becomes independence.
Mike Dalton, NBN News.
Coming up next, the true impact of a draining summer heatwave on our reef, the startling underwater pictures, new penalties for taxi drivers who refuse service animals, and a behind-the-scenes look at the road to the Olympics with the Hunter's very own straight shooter, Dan Repicoli.
I really want to go.
Okay, I'll think about it.
It's never okay for someone to say or do things that make you feel uncomfortable, no matter what. And if you're not sure, you can always talk to me.
Every conversation brings us closer to a world without child sexual abuse. Let's end child sexual abuse, one talk at a time. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Every mum deserves to be spoilt on Mother's Day, and here's one of the places you can do it. Spoil her with a gift card. It's a beautiful gift idea. I love the gift cards because then I can come and get what I want.
I love a sunburnt country. A land of sweeping plains. Ragged mountain ranges of drought and flooding rains. When the lucky country isn't so lucky,
Lucky you're with Amy.
To celebrate the Garfield movie in cinemas, HelloFresh recipes have had a movie makeover, like this cozy butter chicken. Plus, you could win a double pass to see the Garfield movie in cinemas. Don't miss your chance to unbox a winner with HelloFresh.
With a powerful 2-litre hybrid engine, intelligent 4-wheel drive, and 7 spacious seats, the all-new Tank 500 Hybrid out there awaits.
This rest app makes it super simple to choose my investments.
I wonder if finding a decent flatmate could be that simple.
Rest. Super simple.
This Mother's Day, Black Pepper is celebrating all the amazing women in our lives. Spend $100 in store or online and receive $20 off for a limited time only. It's time to spoil her or yourself and wear life well in Black Pepper. Welcome to Invercold House. Equipped with the latest technology, host your conference, seminar or workshop in our versatile spaces. Then unwind or even network in our serene outdoor areas. Invercold House, where productivity meets tranquility.
Queensland's largest industry primary field days is nearly here. Buy your tickets online now at farmfest.com.au and save 30%. Join us for 3 big days, June 4, 5 and 6. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today.
You're watching NBN News. These are our top local stories. Residents in the Tea Gardens and Hawks Nest areas have recorded up to 200 millimetres of rain in the past 24 hours. The Bureau says more heavy showers are forecast along the coast tonight. Police divers searched Coffs Creek this morning as investigations continue into the stabbing death of a 22-year-old surfer on Thursday. A new maternity model has been rolled out at Glen Innes Hospital, giving women access to personalised midwives throughout their pregnancy. Until now, staff worked on a rotating roster, leaving their patients with no continuity of care. Central Coast Surf Lifesavers participated in pool rescue simulations at Mingara today, helping them better prepare for different scenarios. And Sydney's Sam Appleton has been crowned Australia's 37th Ironman, taking out the iconic Port Macquarie race in record time. The fine for refusing to pick up an assistance animal in a rideshare or taxi has more than doubled. Offending drivers will be hit with a $1,000 fine, up from $300, after the state government received reports of passengers with guide dogs being denied transport. There are about 300 working guide dogs in our state. The jewel in Australia's crown, the Great Barrier Reef, is right now experiencing one of the worst bleaching events on record. Marine scientists are tonight raising the alarm about the frequency of coral heat stress as sea temperatures rise. From the air, these tropical waters are calm and pristine, but below the surface, it doesn't take long to find signs of an ecosystem in distress.
They've been slowly bleaching, I think, over the last couple of weeks. And I guess some of those will survive, but a lot of them will die.
Marine scientists assessing the devastation caused by a summer heatwave. When the water is too warm, the coral expels the algae that produces this kaleidoscope of colour, starving the stems of their vibrancy and killing them if they remain under heat stress.
We've seen a very rapid uptick in temperatures of the tropics, in fact, of the oceans. And that is putting pressure on an already pressured system.
One of the worst hit reefs is off Heron Island. Usually an undersea paradise, it now looks more like a bone-white graveyard.
The scale of it is very hard to comprehend. To witness the damage at the moment is witnessing something you love start to struggle.
Along this 2,000-kilometre coastline, there are 3,000 individual reefs. 73% have been affected, most severely in the central and southern regions. The Conservation Foundation providing Nine News with a tour of some of the impacted parts.
It's such a crisis under the water, and it's exacerbated by climate change.
While the coral patchwork isn't deterring visitors,
very impressive it was out there. Heaps of fish, big fish, little fish, very bright colours. It was awesome.
The change is noticeable.
Well, I was here as a kid 25 years ago. And so my memory of that back then is that it's probably a lot more healthy.
It's health weighing on the minds of those working on the reef. The tourism industry, worth $6 billion, employing more than 60,000 people. Operators are used to weathering the storm of bleaching events, but the gaps between are getting shorter. This is the 5th in 8 years.
I think to pretend to people when they come out with us that everything's fine, people have woken up to the fact that everything is far from fine, but what are we doing about it?
Sea temperatures are starting to cool, giving the coral a chance to regain its colour, but scientists fear bleaching will become the new summer norm unless there's a concerted effort to reduce climate pressures.
If this happens again next year and so on, corals will eventually lose their ability to fight back.
Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek says the government is pouring more than $1 billion into reef adaptation and resilience, but conservation groups believe more drastic action is needed.
On one hand, the Albanese government says it will protect the reef, but on the other hand, the Albanese government continues to approve new coal and gas projects. It can't have both.
Our unique treasure facing a challenging future, but still hope remains it can be saved.
A lot of the corals are growing back. We've got people planting corals, but it's the frequency of those mass bleaching events and the scary proximity by which they're happening is what's worrying.
On the Great Barrier Reef, Eliza Edwards, NBN News.
Hunter MP Dan Rapopoli is no stranger to the green and gold, a sharpshooter who's represented Australia on the world stage numerous times. But if he makes the Olympic team for Paris this year, he will also make history as the first sitting MP to represent the country at the iconic sporting event.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the House of Power, there's one MP that overshadows the rest. If it's not his bushy beard, it's his size. Dan Rapopoli stands over 2 metres tall, a towering figure, and he's even more imposing with a pistol in his hand. No stopping him at the moment. A sharpshooter on target to make history. 6 Commonwealth Games and 5 Olympics under his belt. And he sights on number 6, making him the first politician since hockey player Rick Charlesworth in 1984 to represent Australia at an Olympic Games. So if I'm lucky enough to qualify for Paris, my goal is to go there and compete the best that I can. The former coal miner won the federal seat of Hunter in 2022, and as he swapped his high-vis for a suit and tie, he quickly realised his skills as a marksman would come in handy. It brings a lot to the table. It brings in experience of being able to deal in high-pressure situations, to deal in uncomfortable situations. And right now, the pressure is on, looking after his constituents while trying to make the team. His boss, the Prime Minister, has given him a leave pass for the next month or so to compete in qualifying shootouts around the world. Being able to put on the green and gold tracksuit, that's a fantastic thing. And that prospect has Big Dan licking his lips. The best thing for me has been the dining hall. As you can see, I don't mind a meal or two. There's everything from McDonald's to salads to burgers to pizzas. Hopefully he can fit in a gold medal as well, proving sport and politics do mix. Damien Ryan, NBN News.
And it's a case of watch this space. He's got one more chance to qualify. But it's time for sport now with Sophie Scanlon, and the Knights have recorded back-to-back wins this afternoon.
Yes, but the Warriors didn't make it easy. After the break, Newcastle's fight to the dying minutes at McDonald Jones Stadium. Also ahead, all the highlights as Cronulla survive a damp derby with the Dragons. Plus, Daniel Ricciardo experiences the best and worst of the F1.
If life's a journey, why not enjoy the ride? Take a back seat. Let someone else do the driving. Enjoy a moment together, or a moment to yourself. Watch the world go by and relax. Take it easy. Take the time to listen, to see, to smile. There are more than 365 destinations, but we're all about the journey. New South Wales Trainlink will take you there. Search New South Wales Trainlink and book your ticket today.
Hi, I'm Nat from O'Brien. I get asked all the time, should I worry about this chip? Yeah, you should. Look, this crack started as a chip. And this one too. It happened. It's faster, cheaper and greener. We use our exclusive resin, cure it, nice polish, saving you the cost of a new windscreen. And with car insurance, your chip repair is usually free. For over 100 years, O'Brien has been here for you, so you know you're in expert hands. Book today.
O'Brien.
I'll get this. We're still up for ice skating, or is that on hold for afternoon tea?
Oh, that's great. ANZ Falcon technology learns from thousands of data points on your transactions, so it can help spot the difference between you and fraud. Fraud protection. Now it's personal.
So, you want to make an entrance? It's important to move with purpose. Take in your surroundings. Signal your intention. And enter with poise. Because how you arrive leaves a lasting impression. Arrive in the first ever Lexus LBX.
In the heart of Victoria, where gum trees stand tall, Eureka wood heaters, a legacy for all. A flicker of sparks, dedication shines, craftsmanship, passion, every detail defined. From father to son, and then to the next, a heritage shared, a warmth that connects. Eureka Wood Heaters. Generations in the making.
Power up and save with Lazy Boy. Get up to 30% off all power. Like this Dallas Power recliner, now 30% off. Save big on the United range. Get $900 off this Ryan Power recliner. Plus save 20% off all power furniture. Lazy Boy, long live the lazy.
Celebrate the most retro beef week yet, the Casino Food Co-op Casino Beef Week 2024, May 18th to 26th in Casino, New South Wales. 9 days of fun, food and entertainment with activities for all ages. Visit casinobeefweek.com.au for tickets and info. Don't miss out.
For the first time in 2024, the Knights have strung together 2 wins on the trot, battling tough conditions to get their revenge on the Warriors in a gritty 14-8 victory at home.
The Knights came out firing in slippery conditions at McDonald Jones Stadium. Tyson Gamble making the most off a Hastings grubber. A disallowed try didn't curb Newcastle's enthusiasm, piling the pressure on the visitors.
Hastings for Armstrong, flying across is Nickel Cluster. They've lost it again.
But the Warriors found their strength and fired back.
Towards the pace again. Walker stretches out. He's got it down.
The Knights looked set to answer before Dane Gagai was stopped short by Sean Johnson, but the Knights managed to hold on to lead, headed into the sheds.
And Newcastle with all hands on deck.
2 near misses in the opening 11 of the second spurred the Knights on.
Did he get there? Gladman best. Flying, sliding bodies.
But a late tackle from Jed Cartwright saw Johnson level the score just as the rain set in.
And now the wind coming at turn, the rain. Oh boy, it is a monsoon.
The Knights thriving in the torrential weather.
It opens up, Sophie! Through the gap.
Putting up a steely fight to keep the Warriors' attempted onslaught at bay.
Came to a halt, and that was just feeding time for the defence.
And with the crowd cheering them on.
Here comes a Newcastle call. Oh, lost ball. Listen to the fans.
They managed to hold on for their second win in 2 weeks.
The Knights have got it back to back.
The coach proud of the team's gritty performance.
That's what we want to be known as. That's a Knights footy team, and that's what fills this stadium, that sort of effort.
Montana Claire, NBN News.
They've got a tough run looming, but for now, the Sharks continue to set the pace in Dragons, keeping them unbeaten in over 6 weeks.
Before the rivalry reignited, an emotional moment in Jack Bird's 150th match. Sharks great Luke Lewis presenting Bird his Dragons jersey.
It's a big match at local derby, and seen the footage this morning of how wet it was down here. And luckily, it held off a little bit for us, but yeah, look, it was a tough game, and I think we need that sort of game going into next week.
Giant Callum Brown is facing a 3-game suspension after being charged for a high bump on Tom McCartan in yesterday's loss to the Swans. A sigh of relief for 2 other GWS stars, Toby Green escaping with a fine for striking Jake Lloyd. While scans have cleared Tom Green of a serious ankle injury, he's a chance of facing. Ricardo only managed the 18th fastest time, and after being hit with a penalty last round, he'll start from last on the grid. Max Verstappen won the sprint race and claimed pole for tomorrow's Grand Prix. In a photo finish, Newcastle's Tory Lewis and Team Australia have booked their ticket to the Paris Games in the 4x100 metre relay. Germany won the heat, but it was a nervous wait for the Aussies battling for second, with the top 2 automatically qualifying for the Olympics. The team setting a new national record of 42.83 seconds, sending them through to the World Athletics Relay Decider on Monday. Still to come, Sydney FC booked their spot in the A-League semis, but at a cost.
Strong, unique passphrases. Learn simple steps to protect yourself at actnowstaysecure.gov.au.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Get one complete pair of multifocals from $149. Should have gone to Specsavers.
Wow. Rest's low fees make it super simple to get value.
I wonder if making Holly a birthday cake could be that simple.
Rest. Super simple.
The artisan loaf. Supermarket speak for frozen bread. Now that's not cool. So I guess you can choose fakery or an actual bakery.
Frankie said she's a fan of impersonation, but not of people impersonating Australia Post. That's why we've made all delivery updates available on the AusPost app, so she'll know they're from us, and us alone. You ask, we deliver at Australia Post.
This Mother's Day, Black Pepper is celebrating all the amazing women in our lives. Spend $100 in store or online and receive $20 off for a limited time only. It's time to spoil her or yourself and wear life well in Black Pepper.
Deliver more with the world's #1 forklift brand. Get Toyota's legendary reliability. Get world-leading safety. Get more uptime. And more value for your business. Don't just get a forklift. Give your business the Toyota Forklift Advantage.
Dadco Aluminium, Murwillumbah's home of premium aluminium, glass and double glazing for commercial and domestic applications. Dadco Aluminium, 1300 137 221.
Kingscliff Nursery. Over 5 acres of trees, native shrubs and exotic plants. Huge range of fruit trees, indoor and outdoor plants, pots, planters and much more. Buy direct, save heaps. Remember to say hi to Sally at Kingscliff Nursery, Coogin Road, Coogin.
This report brought to you by Harvey Norman. Shop in store or at hn.com.au.
The Premier League's title race is alive for another week. Leaders Arsenal defeated Bournemouth 3-0 while Erling Haaland scored 4 goals as Manchester City thrashed Wolves 5-1. Sydney FC has moved into the A-League semis, thrashing Macarthur 4-0 in their elimination final. The Bulls went a man down after a controversial red card, allowing the Sky Blues to dominate the second half, setting up a two-leg showdown with either the Central Coast or Wellington.
In the second half, that they definitely shifted. They lifted up the intensity, and the attitude was good, and the mentality was good, and we scored some really nice goals.
Sydney could be under strength for their next game. Joe Lolly and captain Luke Bratton both injured. Sydney's Sam Appleton has just been crowned Australia's 37th Ironman. The triathlete was the first male to cross the finish line in Port Macquarie, followed closely by New Zealand's Mike Phillips.
Becoming the first athlete to cross the Ironman Australia finish line in less than 8 hours. Sydney's Sam Appleton sinks to his knees as victory sets in. The triathlete completing the grueling 262-kilometre race in just 7 hours, 57 and 32 seconds. Just 7 hours, 57 and 32 seconds.
Pretty tired, but stoked. Really, really happy. A tough day. I knew I had some pretty good training leading into this, so I knew I could race pretty well.
After getting the leg up in the 3.8-kilometre swim down the Hastings River, Appleton soared well into the lead on the 180k cycling track. New Zealand's Mike Phillips hot on his tail, the pair battling for first position in the 42.2-kilometre run.
Mike was running really, really strong, and he was running a pace that I couldn't go with, but then fortunately he slowed down and I was able to kind of come back and overtake him again. But yeah, it's exciting, you know, it makes for a great race.
Sam gritted his teeth and jumped back in the lead.
To make it to the end, Sam says he mentally breaks the triathlon down into smaller stages and admits the final push is always the toughest.
The end of a long day, your muscles are screaming at you. They've been taking a beating for the last 7 hours.
Runner-up Mike Phillips finishing with a time of 7 hours, 59 minutes and 19 seconds, leaving Sam to celebrate a hard-earned win.
To see someone go sub 8 hours on a course that is one of the most challenging on the Ironman global circuit would just be an incredible feat.
Marina Trajkovic, NBN News.
Muddy conditions plagued round 2 of Far North Coast Rugby Union this weekend. Despite the wet, the Byron Shire Rebels managed to come out on top, besting Ballina at home.
Out in the elements, the Byron Shire Rebels and Ballina still give it their all. A successful penalty goal from Pierce Briers, giving the home side the first points of the day. It was back and forth for a while with play tied up in a muddy tussle, before the Rebels managed to find numbers and force themselves through a scattered Ballina defence to break even. Backed up with a successful conversion by Joel Little, the Rebels settled the scoreboard 7 points to 3 at the halftime break. Out of the sheds, Little upped Byron's score to 16 in the wake of 3 consecutive penalty goals, before Ballina's Stan Lolia made his move to the line, slipping through Byron's defence. But it wasn't enough to stop the Rebels, the muddy game wrapping up 16 points to 8. Alexandra Rees, NBN News.
Byron Bay's Ocean Swim Classic returned for its 36th year today. More than 900 competitors of all ages turned out in droves to Watergo's Beach, entering in the 800-metre mini swim and 2.2-kilometre superfish race to Main Beach.
This is the heart and soul of the bay. People coming out, the scouts, the surf club, the Winter Wales swimming club. Everyone just puts on a great event.
Jack French from Hopkins Creek was the winning male with a time of 27 minutes, while Queensland Ashley Allred finished first for the women. Gosh, they're braver than I am getting in the water today.
Me too. Thank you, Soph. Plenty of rain around today. We'll check your local weather details right after the break.
It's Carpacall's Rug Frenzy, and you can take 50% off the ticketed price of any rug purchased in-store or at carpacall.com.au. That's right, 50% off. Rug Frenzy. Be quick.
The experts in the trade. With a website from GoDaddy, you can sell in all ways. Like Blooms by the Bay Florist. The owner said, I want our business to flourish and reach more customers. You can use GoDaddy to build a website and online store. So easy. No design or coding skills needed. This landed them their first online orders. Ordering that, ready to collect. Which led to, love it, smashed it. And with marketing tools from GoDaddy, business is still blooming. GoDaddy, with you all the way.
Hey Mum, can I have the recipe for tacos? Pork smash, milk, vanilla cake, chocolate chip cookies, pavlova, pancakes.
Where did you get the recipe?
I got it from my sister.
Bobby.
Bestie. My mum. My son. My dad.
My grandma.
I got it from my mum.
Oh, well, that's Future Paula's problem. Oh, jeez. Who are you? I'm Future Paula, and we've got a problem. Your 4 p.m.'s going to run over because Jane will be late. There's road work on Harris Street. You've got Pilates on Wednesday, and you're going to have to stop by Mum's Thursday morning before school drop-off because her Wi-Fi isn't working. Trust me.
Do Future you a favour and stock up with fresh, ready-made meals delivered. Help yourself with U-Foods.
In a world where imagination is king and Lego reigns supreme, who will rise to claim the ultimate prize?
G'day, I'm Batman.
Finale week kicks off with a superhero spectacular.
Wow! Then, the semi-final is about to get wild.
Australia, the new Isuzu D-Max is reinvigorated and ready for life. No matter where you take it, from life in the city to finding new, faraway places. Knuckling down, or just soaking up the best of our beautiful country. Life is reinvigorated with the new Isuzu D-Max. Go your own way. Store online.
Scattered showers again today with 22 millimetres recorded in the 24 hours to 9 a.m. at Yamba. Now, these shots from Tea Gardens, which copped a drenching today with flash flooding in residential streets. The radar showed the heaviest of the rain focused on Port Stephens today. The satellite shows cloud across much of the eastern seaboard in humid winds as driving showers most intense over coastal New South Wales with a few storms and a coastal trough. Tomorrow, scattered showers along eastern Australia again, heaviest on the New South Wales coast where humid onshore winds will be strongest. A high will keep much of the remainder of the country dry apart from southern WA. Cloudy with scattered showers today, a top of 23 degrees for Yamba and Ballina, 25 at Casino, 21 the top at Byron Bay. Tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a chance of fog in the south in the early morning. A high chance of showers, most likely from the afternoon and evening, with light winds becoming southerly up to 30 kilometres an hour in the morning. Heading for 24 degrees at Grafton with some rain, 23 for Ballina, 22 for Byron Bay, 15 to 24 for Tweed Heads. Coastal waters information for tomorrow sees at 1.5 metres with a 1.5 metre swell for the Gold Coast, southerly winds up to 20 knots, south-southwesterlies up to 30 knots for the Byron Coast. The sun to rise at 6:17 and set at 5:10, and the outlook for Tweed Heads Tuesday, cloudy with a high chance of showers and strong southerly winds up to 20 millimetres on Tuesday, another 10 possible on Wednesday. For Ballina, you can see those showers lingering for at least the next 3 days with up to 25 millimetres forecast for Tuesday. For Lismore, also rain ahead, 5 to 20 millimetres on Tuesday with a top of 21 degrees, another 7 possible on Wednesday. And finally for Grafton, slightly lighter falls there, up to 7 millimetres on the way tomorrow with a top of 24, 9 for Tuesday. And that is the NBN news for this Sunday. Lego Masters is up next, followed by 60 Minutes, and there will be more news at 9:40. Enjoy your evening. Good night.
The Aussie girl who remembers her own birth.
I had intense curiosity.
Her memory could change the world tonight.